at the root of you grabbing attention, at the root of you standing out is differentiation. You have to have something different to say. You have to have something different to say. In order to have something different to say, you have to know what is it that your competitors have said and are saying right now. You have to know what is it that your market has already been exposed to, meaning what claims have they already heard? What promises have they already heard? What benefit statements have they already heard? What ideas have they already heard? Because you can't expect to get extraordinary results if you come in and you bring the same idea that they've already heard. Our goal, our aim is to come up with something new. So we use this promise exposure spectrum to understand where they're at. Let me show you how this works. So there are 5 levels to this. And this is really kind of this is, for those of you that are familiar with Gene Schwartz's marketplace sophistication, this is kind of marketplace sophistication 2.0, if you will. If I could be bold enough to even say that. So at the first level is promise. Now look, at the root of every effective marketing campaign, is a promise of transformation, is a promise of result, is a promise of change, is a promise of outcome, is a promise of relief of pain, is some promise of benefit, of change, right? Well, if the promise that you are making, if the promise that you're going to present to your market has never been presented before, if the promise that you're going to make has never been presented before, then you're literally just at level 1 of the promise exposure spectrum. And truthfully, you don't even need a big idea at that point. You just need to make the promise. So the example that I love to use all the time is when the first fat burner came out, when the first, the pills that you take to speed up your metabolism kind of thing, right? So when the first fat burner came out, all they had to say was take this pill and you'll lose weight. That was it. That's the promise. That's all they had to say. That's all they had to say because nobody else had presented that promise. So that promise in and of itself was a big idea. It was unique. It was compelling. It was interesting. It was startling. It was exciting, right? But what happens is over time in every market, I don't care what you are selling in every market over time, competitors come in and they begin to knock off your message. They begin to copy and swipe, right? So common in the direct response world, right? And they knock it off. They might tweak it a little bit, like instead of take this pill and lose weight, it's take this pill and lose fat, or take this pill and shed pounds or whatever. But it's all underneath the same idea. That's just different words for the same exact idea. What happens is then you see this evolution where marketers go to the next stage of the promise exposure spectrum, right? And this is where marketers then begin to expand the promise. They expand the promise, meaning that now it's take this pill and lose 10 pounds, take this pill and lose 20 pounds, take this pill and lose 10 pounds and 15 inches or whatever it is. They are expanding the promise. Now, for those of you that have been around the internet marketing world for any significant length of time, you've seen this in every niche, in every kind of educational category. Right? At first it was how to get Facebook fans. Then it was how to get 1,000 Facebook fans. Then it was how to get 10,000 Facebook fans. Brian Moran, wherever you are, you know that. Then it was how to get 100,000 Facebook fans and 1 million fans. Right? And marketers think that the answer, listen to me carefully here. Marketers think that the answer when you're in that kind of competitive, saturated marketplace is to simply expand the promise more. They think it's, let me make a bigger promise. Let me make a louder promise. But what happens is you reach a point where either 1, it's not true and you're lying, or 2, it's not credible and believable anymore. If we said, take this pill and lose 100 pounds, not believable, right? Not believable anymore. That's when we see this evolution to stage 3. Where now you're not enlarging the promise anymore, you're introducing what's called the unique mechanism. The unique mechanism, which we're going to talk about in just a bit, is the unique piece, part, component, process, aspect of your product or service that delivers on the promise. It's the thing that is unique within your product or service that actually delivers the promise to the prospect. Now, the reason why this is incredibly valuable. And let me say this, right, that there are 3 different ways to create a unique mechanism. And so 2 of the ways have nothing to do with your product actually having a unique mechanism. Like, in other words, it's a marketing invention, right? So I don't want you to think like there is nothing unique about my product, so how can I have a unique mechanism? You can. Everybody in here can. The thing that I want you to understand is this, and if you get this, this will radically change the way you go about structuring your marketing messages. And that is that the unique mechanism, the thing that is unique about your product or service, the thing within your product or service that fulfills the promise, that's the thing that gives your prospects hope. That's the thing that makes them say, maybe that's why I failed before, because it didn't have X. It didn't have the unique mechanism. Maybe that's why it'll work now. Maybe now it'll work, right? See, if we go back to the example of the fat burner, right? You have take this pill and lose weight. Then at the second, once that becomes saturated, you can't go in and say, take this pill and you'll lose weight anymore. It doesn't work. The idea is just ridiculous, right? Like, it's absurd. It's too immature. Then you've got take this pill and lose 10 pounds, right? Then people start, marketers start blowing up the claim. You can't simply try to compete anymore by blowing up the claim. You then move on to the next stage where it's promise, right? But it's hope. See, at the level 3, at the next stage, you can make the same promise. You can make the promise that you know that they want, the outcome, the result, the transformation. But by linking it to a unique mechanism, you give the prospect this feeling of, wow, maybe this time it really will happen because I've never tried X. I've never used, this fat burner with Garcinia cambogia or something, whatever, this crazy ingredient, right? Like, maybe that's what I've been missing. Maybe that's what I've been missing. And you see, you need to understand where your market is at. Every market is somewhere on this spectrum. We're not going to get into the last 2 because the truth is you don't even really need to get into the last 2. Like, you can operate at level 3 and crush everybody. The thing is this, that if your market is at level 2 and you come out with a marketing message that's at level 1, you're done. You're dead in the water. If your market is at level 3 and you're simply trying to expand the claim and you're beyond the point already of credibility and believability, you're dead in the water.